Welcome back to now the third episode of MovieBabble's Road to the Oscars. This is probably our most exciting one because we had the Golden Globes last weekend. I'm joined again by Nick. How's it going?
Like my boy David Fincher, every time I take an L on this podcast, I will be taking a shot.
That was great. That was great. That little smile he gave and then took the shot. That was good.
Honestly, that's just king shit by David Fincher. That's like one of the funniest things I've seen. He just does not
It's
care.
like he was expecting it. Um, but yeah, so that was big. The Golden Globes was big. I think there were some fun moments. I mean, it's obviously a big change to do it kind of hybrid between two cities. Also, the online format, we saw right off the jump there with Daniel Kaluuya. They had technical difficulties, but I thought for the most part the night went pretty smoothly. We'll get into it though in a second here. But yeah, so essentially we're just going to run down each category and talk about how it all turned out because it wasn't your typical night at the Golden Globes. I think it was. I mean, in Golden Globes fashion, they did take us for a little bit of a spin, if you will, but I just didn't see some of those spins coming. So I guess we'll jump right into it then with supporting actor. So that was interesting, right? You had Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night Miami. You had Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of Chicago 7. You had Bill Murray in there for On the Rocks. And then obviously you had Jared Leto. We were all kind of holding our breath for a second there. But I think everyone knew or had a good hunch that it would be Daniel Kaluuya, and he did win it. And I don't know if you got to see his speech there, but I thought it was a phenomenal speech.
Yeah, a year in quarantine will make you realize what you like in this world, and one thing I do not like is watching the Golden Globes. So I watched all of the highlights instead, which I feel like you get everything you need to know. You get to see sad Jason Sudeikis, you see David Fincher taking a shot. That's all you need, really. But it was
Mm-hmm.
nice because you see, like you did see at the beginning with Daniel Kaluuya, just like his connection getting cut out, and then it was nice that they let him like actually talk later on, so that was cool.
Yeah, certainly. I was worried that he would just kind of get kind of thrown aside, and I thought it would happen the whole night, but that was the only time they had a real issue. I found it pretty good, like the whole night. I watched the whole thing. I kind of just sat, did some light homework while I watched, so it was kind of a good setup for me. Um, but yeah, I thought his speech was good, and I think we can now expect him to probably run the table and win everywhere. Uh, I don't know if the BAFTAs will kind of spin it around and do something different, but I expect him to win at pretty much every single award show from here on out.
Yeah, me too. This seemed like this was the signal that the Judas and the Black Messiah wave is here, if not coming later. But yeah, it's just he should be winning this, and I'm just happy to see that like normalcy is in the Golden Globes somewhat. I mean, we'll get to the craziness for other categories later on, but this was a slam dunk pick, and I'm glad that they actually converted this one.
And you know what? You're right. I think that late push for this movie, obviously, I haven't even seen it yet, but it just came out 2 weeks ago or so. And 3 weeks ago was our last podcast because there wasn't really too much in the world of awards besides a few small guilds kind of announcing their nominees. But it's been a few weeks since we have spoke, and it was funny because I've been updating our chart here where everyone's got kind of the win tracker, and I went to the supporting actor one, and I haven't even put down Daniel Kaluuya yet coming into today. So that surge happened, and he's now up at 7 wins overall this season. Um, and he had zero 3 weeks ago when we spoke. So it's a quick kind of surge for him since this film dropped, and that's kind of cool. And he's already picked up the Globe. I expected him to win. I thought there was a chance Sacha Baron Cohen would win, but when I marked down my predictions, I had him. So I was 1 for 1 out the gate. So yeah, I do expect him to go all the way. So we'll go to the next one now, and we're going in order kind of how they gave it out that night, just to kind of stay with that rhythm. So we go to the best score category. I think this is one that everyone kind of expected to go for Soul, and Soul did win. The nominees were The Midnight Sky, Tenet, News of the World, Mank, and Soul. Uh, or Sal. I don't know if you saw that clip. Did you see that highlight from Tracy Morgan?
No, I guess I missed all of the good highlights.
He was giving out the winner, and he read the nominees and he screamed it, but instead of saying Soul, he yelled Sal. It became a meme. Uh, but yeah, so Soul wins here. and I think we expected this, and I expect it to go all the way. Now, Minari just came out. I heard they have a fantastic score. Maybe they'll kind of sneak in somewhere, but at this point in time, I'd expect Soul to also run the table here.
Yeah, it's weird because it's tough to gauge how well Minari's going to do because the Golden Globes is stupid and just pencils it in foreign language film and doesn't allow it to compete anywhere else. So my guess is that we're gonna see the score for Minari. It's one of the best of the year, and my guess is it'll knock out the Midnight Sky News of the World. Those seem like they're running 4 or 5 in this category. So I think we'll see it, but yeah, I think Soul is still the front runner here. I mean, it seems
Mhm.
like all the guilds have been picking it. It's just, and I think it's terrific. I think that's definitely the front runner.
Yeah, I like a lot of these scores here. I think The Midnight Sky for me is a good sci-fi score. It's Alexander Desplat's good, but it's nothing too special for me. I think Ludwig on Tenet, I think he did a great job stepping in for Hans Zimmer, and I think he made a very memorable score there. I haven't listened to the News of the World one yet. And then I really do like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's work on Mank. I really love that score as well. But I mean, they're here twice, right? They were there for Soul as well with John Batiste. So good for them. They're going to get nominated twice at every award show.
That's kind of nice. You got a 2/5 shot every single time. Can't Could be worse.
Pretty much. Yeah. So we'll go on to song now. They did those back to back. And this one, I put down Speak Now on my prediction sheet. I think a lot of people did, but I feel like the song category is always a little bit tough to gauge unless you have something like last year with the Elton John song. That kind of swept everywhere. But we had a United States v. Billie Holiday song. There was a song from Trial of Chicago 7, a song from Judas, then Speak Now from One Night in Miami, and then you had Scene from The Life Ahead, which was also nominated for Best Foreign Language Film. Um, so I was expecting Speak Now. It was really looking good on Gold Derby, and then Scene from The Life Ahead won. And I was kind of surprised. I think this was probably the first surprise of the night on the movie side. I think on the TV side, I'm not as big of a TV guy as other people, but I didn't really hear too many people say that there were many surprises on the TV side. But I haven't listened to the song. I heard it's great. I mean, Diane Warren worked on this song, and she's quite popular. Um, so I mean, I don't think for me. It's not always the most exciting category to watch the best song one, but I do have to watch this film and listen to the song at some point to kind of get a better appreciation for it.
Yeah, I think I've only heard Speak Now out of these 5 songs, and I was expecting it to win as well. Just because it seems like, I mean, I haven't listened to any of the others, so I don't really have a ton of great insight here, but it just seemed like that was the front runner in a lot of stuff. But it seems like Scene is the only one that's in another language, possibly.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
Hollywood Foreign Press, maybe there's something going on there is my guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would still expect Speak Now to be the front runner here. This is a little bit of a weird one.
Me too. Me too. I think especially I think One Night Miami has kind of been slightly undercut this award season. I don't think it's been as strong as some people expected it was going to be early on. I mean, it's still very far out, right? We have so many different awards shows to come, but I think it hasn't really that. I mean, Regina King's been soaring, but I think the movie as a whole hasn't been doing great. So I feel like the song is where they're going to get a lot of their due. So I do agree with you. I think Speak Now should probably remain as the front runner still for the Oscars. So that's our song category. That was the first little surprise. There were more though, and it got weirder. But we moved to screenplay now, and the best screenplay. I think everyone knew what was going to come here. But you had Aaron Sorkin for Trial of Chicago 7, Emerald Fennell there for Promising Young Woman, Jack Fincher for Mank, and then you had The Father and Nomadland for the 5 screenplays. I didn't think anyone was going to challenge Aaron Sorkin here at the Globes, and if that proved to be true and he won, wasn't too big of a surprise for me.
Yeah, I didn't really expect anything different here. I thought maybe they give something to Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman as like a fun little twist, but that might be more of an Oscars pick because the Oscars normally goes with the cool, sexy, really interesting film for their screenplay awards. Like it's kind of like a consolation prize. I remember like Black Klansman. That's big. It's a big award a few years ago, but it
Mm-hmm.
got shut out on Best Picture and Director and everything like that. So I think we should keep an eye on that for the Oscars. But yeah, it seems like the Globes really loves Aaron Sorkin. So Sure.
Now I don't know which one out of here is original and which one's adapted.
Yeah,
Um,
it's another stupid thing. They only do the one screenplay category. It's just, it
yeah,
feels like that's like slacking. Like you can't do
yeah.
10 screenplays in here.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I know I forget which one Trials in. I forget if it's original or adapted. I know Promising Young Woman's original, Manx original, Nomadland and The Father are both adapted, I'm quite sure. And then Trial of Chicago 7. I'm not too sure about that one. I don't know if it's original or adapted. I wouldn't be surprised either way. Um, but so it won. Aaron Sorkin gave a fine little speech there. But we'll move on now. And you know what? That win early on for him, actually, since we're going in order of how the awards came out, that win came, and I'm like, okay, so now they're set up now to win Best Picture. I think I was expecting, they got the screenplay and the next steps picture, but now we go to supporting actress, and this was the first one of the night where I was kind of like, oh wow, they're doing something a little weird here. So you had Helena Zengel for News of the World, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, Olivia Colman in The Father, Glenn Close in Hillbilly, and then Jodie Foster in The Mauritanian. I would not expect Jodie Foster in The Mauritanian to win here, and she did. Um, I predicted Glenn Close on my sheet, and I was thinking if it's not her, it's probably either Amanda Seyfried or Olivia Colman. But it was Jodie Foster, and she was even surprised. I don't know if you saw the clip of her winning there, but she was absolutely stunned.
Has anyone even seen this movie yet? I don't believe that the Hollywood Foreign Press has actually seen this movie. I refuse to believe it. This is so stupid.
I mean, Tahir Rahim also got in for actor, right? So
I
it
don't know.
seems like they all got a screening. It seems like the studio, whoever made the Mauritanian, sat them down and said, "Watch it."
Hey, who is that? Is it STX Entertainment? Is that who does the Mauritanian? I don't even know, but
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it is
STX.
weird. I keep thinking that Amanda Seyfried is gonna run away with the awards, and no one really seems to be voting for her. I don't really get it. I mean, out of these five, I think
Mm-hmm.
she's by far the best. Well, I guess I still haven't seen The Father, but you keep saying that Olivia Colman's role is pretty slim in that movie. So, I mean,
I think I mean, she does the role well, but I
yeah,
just don't think it's big enough.
yeah,
Um, it's tough. And, also, this is a little different because you don't have Maria Bakalova here, who's going to be here everywhere else, right?
that's
She's
true. Yeah,
supporting everywhere else, but they pushed her for the lead here at the
and
Globes.
Kate Hudson too. Don't
So
forget
it
about
was a,
her.
oh God, this is going to be the Globes is the first and last time we hear about music, I think. I hope.
There was no music awards.
Uh,
That's all I care about. That's all that matters.
yeah, they had one big win. So yeah, that Jodie Foster one is incredibly weird, and it really just throws a curveball into the entire season because I think on the actor side, we have our clear front runner, Daniel Kaluuya for supporting, and then Chadwick Boseman for lead. But when it comes to both actress categories, it's an absolute it's a wild card here, and I don't know who's going to win or who's really going to take off here. And I was thinking if Glenn Close won here, she'd have good momentum going forward. And I expect the Globes to go Glenn Close. I don't know why. I just kind of felt like they would. But when Jamie Lee Curtis said it goes to my best friend, she opened it. She's like, award goes to my best friend. I'm like, oh, I don't know who her best friend is. It's either Foster or Close. But I was thinking, oh, it's Glenn Close. Okay, they're both older. I mean, and then Jodie Foster, I was like, I mean, Jodie Foster, she was shocked. She's in her pajamas with her wife, I believe, and cute dog. They had a cute dog. But yeah, that's another cool thing about these uh, kind of Zoom award shows. You get to see their living rooms.
Yeah, and then there's some who were like, that's clearly like a hotel somewhere that you rented out. You know, it's all for the
Yeah,
appearances, I
the
guess.
best one, the best one was Jeff Daniels, who got nominated in
Oh,
one
that
of the
was
TV
amazing. This
categories.
is the best.
He didn't wave. He didn't really smile. He just had this straight face. He had this blue plaid shirt on. It just looked like he was just like he went upstairs after dinner for a few minutes and he's gonna come back down have some dessert after.
I would totally rock the
Um,
Jason Sudeikis sad dad energy with my hoodie. That would be the way I go. It's amazing.
that was good. That was funny. But yeah, so she won, and this is the weirdest thing because she didn't even get nominated at the SAG or the Critics' Choice. So does this mean that I think this puts her in the Oscar race now, not to win, but to get nominated? But she's not in SAG. She's not in Critics' Choice. Those are two big misses, but she wins here. The season is already insane, and I think this is the first kind of weird one. Do you think there's a chance here that she takes off as the front runner, or is this kind of a one and done thing?
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like they're gonna run Maria Bakalova in Best Actress from here on out. So I don't know if she's probably not gonna take one of these spots. But yeah, I don't know. I just keep thinking that Amanda Seyfried is gonna win, but from all the guilds and everything, it doesn't really seem like that. So maybe really need to stop considering her as a front runner. So if she's not a huge front
Yeah, it's
runner, then the
tough.
rest of them are just kind of all in this like weird, like they're all kind of 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. So
Hmm.
if that's the case, like why not for Jodie Foster? Who knows? But I still don't believe anyone's seen the movie. But I guess everyone just likes Jodie Foster.
Yeah, it's weird. I think, as you said, Maria. So do you think they're going to run her? She made the SAGs in supporting, so it's all over the
Yeah,
place,
and she's Best
right?
Actress for the Globes here. I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's still up in the air. Who knows?
yeah. If they're smart, they put her for supporting, and I mean, she made it for SAG as supporting. That lead actress one is very competitive, and it just got more competitive with these Globes. We'll get there soon. But so now we move on to the animated best animated film, and I didn't. I mean, I was holding out for maybe a weird scenario where Wolfwalkers won because last year I believe Missing Link won the Globe over Toy Story 4, and I mean when you have a voting body of 87 people, I think it's probably pretty easy to sway votes, right? And I was thinking, there's a chance Wolfwalkers might pull it off, but Soul ended up winning, beating out Wolfwalkers, Over the Moon, Onward, and The Croods too. Um, to me, this wasn't a surprise really, and I think this is just the start of them just kind of rolling over the rest of the field all season.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I feel like, I mean, you probably won't make a lot of money on it, but Soul is like the easiest bet for winning the Oscar. I feel like out of any of these categories. So maybe throw that
Yeah,
into a few parlays or anything like that, something like that. Your gambling advice for the pod.
yeah, Howie Ladner up here. Um, Yeah, you know what? It was nice to see Soul win. I think Pete Docter gave a good speech, and then also you had Kent Powers on the iPad. He gave a nice little speech as well. Um, Soul's going to win everywhere, and you know what? Soul is a movie. I think it's good enough for Pixar to kind of sneak into other categories, but it doesn't seem like they're doing that. So you know what? It's probably just going to sweep the animated. And then I think it's definitely, and the score category. It looks like Soul's just gonna kind of sweep both of those all season, and I'm here for it. I think it's a great film overall, and I'm happy for it. So we move on now to best director, and for me this is such a weird pattern they went. I mean, I wanted to follow it just to kind of stay on the path of the Globes, but they have such a weird pattern of handing out their awards. I mean, I guess they do have to intertwine it with TV, but it's just still so odd. So best director was next on their list, and Chloe Zhao won it. I did expect her to win. I thought, for me, Nomadland feels like a Roma. It feels like you're going to win cinematography, you're going to win director everywhere, but you might not win picture, and that's just how it feels for me. And I do feel like the films are very similar as well, just in I mean, they're very different films, but there's something about them to me that kind of screams like this is the awards path you're gonna have. So she won, and she gave a nice, sweet little speech there. Um, she was in like a really dark room. It was pretty funny. Just this like little apartment looking thing.
Yeah. Both of those movies are like they're very slow, very humanist um, movies. So I could definitely see the connection there. But I was expecting an Aaron Sorkin runaway for like I was expecting the Trial of Chicago 7 to win a lot of these things. So this was kind of a cool little surprise for me. I think this does cement Chloe Zhao as the front runner for now. I mean, she was doing well in the guilds, but I think it just further cements her as the lead here because yeah, she's just she's winning everything. I think that's cool too. I'd love to see her win.
Yeah, if there was anywhere where she didn't win, I was gonna say it's the Globes.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think she wins the Critics' Choice. Um, Not too sure how strong Nomadland is going to be in the UK, but we'll see about the BAFTA. She wins the Critics' Choice um, probably next week, and then she wins the Globe here. So I think she got her tough hurdle out of the way. I think the DGA, the Directors Guild, might be tough. I don't know, but she should probably be the front runner there as well. But yeah, I was thinking a little bit different. I was thinking David Fincher would maybe be the surprise upset. Just because I felt like they had to throw Manka Bones somewhere, but no, it went over 6. So it's starting off in the Irishman
Yeah,
path.
he's just
It's
over there
getting there,
taking
right?
a ton of shots.
Yeah, he was wasted at his desk.
I hope that continues
Uh,
for the Oscars. By the way, that'd be amazing.
oh, that'd be great. That would be good. So yeah, close out. I mean, I'm happy for her. I think this is great, and uh, this was probably, as we said, her toughest hurdle. So now she's past that, and in my opinion, there's nothing stopping her from going all the way, and that would be fantastic. She becomes the second female director to ever win at the Golden Globes in a historic year where 3 out of the 5 nominees are females. I think that's the most ever at the Golden Globes. So that was great. So now we had foreign language film, and you had 2 of us. The Life Ahead, as we spoke about earlier, you had La Llorona, and then another round, and then Minari. Minari, it did win. Great. I hope this is the start of a good run for them. Obviously, we have to always point out that it's so weird that they're in the foreign language film category. It is, but it is an American film. So it won't be the same at the Oscars, and we'll have a different trajectory going forward from here. But it was great to see it win. Lee Isaac Chung gave a great speech. His daughter was there. I think she was like screaming out, like, "I prayed for this." She's like screaming for her dad. She's like, "I like you won." Yeah, it was so great. So I mean, I thought it was a charming speech, and it's a good start, hopefully, for his little campaign here, because this movie seems like it's about to take off.
Yeah, we won't know for certain what the prospects of this movie are until like the next few weeks or so. Because yeah, like this is just dumb. It's just sectioned off in the foreign language film. We can't really talk about it anywhere else. But yeah, took care of business.
Yeah.
That's what we expected. So good on Minari.
Mhm. Most certainly. But yeah, so now we move into the actress comedy one, and this was another surprise. So I want to go through here who we had. So we had Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma. She had a good night. She won for the Queen's Gambit on the TV side. Michelle Pfeiffer was there for French Exit. You had Kate Hudson for music. You had Kate Hudson and like 20 people in her Zoom.
Just breaking
uh,
protocols.
um, yeah, a little bit. It was like at least 4 different families. Maria Bakalova was there for Borat. I don't know where she is right now, if she's stateside or in Bulgaria, but if she's in Bulgaria, she was up pretty late. Um, but still, it is very historic that she got nominated, the first Bulgarian actress to ever get nominated at the Golden Globes, or actor, just anyone, period. And then Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot. You guys talked about this movie on the pod last week. I missed out. Um, I liked the movie a lot more than you did. She did win here, and I was surprised to see her win here. I didn't mind it, but I was pulling for Maria just because I wanted to see that historic moment, and she did. I think Maria Bakalova did give a lot to that role in Borat. But yeah, so Rosamund Pike did win here for I Care a Lot for the best actress in the musical or comedy section. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think similar to Judas and the Black Messiah, we're getting this little wave of Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot, mostly just for her performance, not the movie itself, like in the like for Judas and the Black Messiah. But I think she's definitely gonna get nominated after this. I mean, it's weird because that movie has been really popular. It's been #1 on Netflix. Like even like when you combine TV and film, it's like #1 or 2 every single day since it's come out. It's a really big deal. Um, I mean, I don't get it. There's just a lot of awful people in that movie. I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of fun watching it, but I thought she was really good in it, and yeah, I think this movie's kind of zeitgeisty right now. I think a lot of people really like it, so I think she's definitely getting
Yeah.
nominated.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to have a discussion about that, about the best actress category at the Oscars, I think, when we get to the actress drama here at the Globes. But this win here certainly propels her. I do agree. Um, but she, like, it was odd. I mean, I think Maria was the front runner, but I think Rosamund Pike was probably running in a strong second, and she did pull out the win here. So that was a crazy one. Not as crazy as the Jodie Foster win, but it was certainly slightly unexpected, at least a little bit. Um, but yeah, so moving on now off the Best Actress Musical Comedy, we had Best Actor Drama, and this is one that I think everyone's expecting Chadwick Boseman to win pretty much everywhere. I thought there was maybe a shot that Anthony Hopkins would win because it seemed like the Globes went big for the father. I think it got like 4 nominations here. But Tahir Rahim for The Mauritanian, Gary Oldman, Mank, Anthony Hopkins, The Father, Riz Ahmed, Sound and Metal, and then Chadwick Boseman did win for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and his wife gave a very heartfelt speech there on his behalf, and it was emotional. And I think it's the start of it's the start of him probably winning pretty much everywhere, because he did a great job in the film, and it's just tough to pass up honoring something like that, especially when he's no longer with us.
Yeah, it feels really good because he deserves this award too. So like out of these five, I would probably give it to him, honestly. So it just feels good to see him winning all of this, all these awards. So I just still miss him a ton. But yeah, he's by far the leader in this category. I guess Gary Oldman is still number 2 at this point. I don't really know, but yeah, it's his category.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great to see Riz Ahmed get in everywhere. I think he's going to get nominated in a lot of spots, and he deserves it. But yeah, Chadwick, he should probably win everywhere. I think Anthony Hopkins still has a chance for the BAFTA. I think we look out there for him to potentially win there, but Chadwick should pretty much win everywhere, and he does deserve it. As you said, it was a fantastic performance, and it's certainly very. It's so sad, but it is so special at the same time. So now we had the Best Picture comedy one we'll go to, and for me on my predictions, I had Hamilton actually winning this. It's not a movie, and I was upset that it was here, but I felt like the Globes would just go for Hamilton. I had a theory of if Sacha Baron Cohen wins comedy actor, then Hamilton will win picture, and then if Borat wins picture, they'll give actor to Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know. I just had this weird kind of theory with that, but that didn't quite happen. Borat's subsequent movie film won Best Comedy at the Golden Globes. It's so weird to think of Borat's sequel as getting awards love almost 15 years later from that original, but we do have to say thanks to Borat for beating out Hamilton, Music, and The Prom.
Yeah, it's really saved me from just spiraling in anger. I just had these images in my head of Music winning, and then me hating my life. It would have been awful. Yeah, it's cool to see Borat 2 win here. It feels like that was the choice. Even though I really like Palm Springs, it didn't seem like that had a really much of a shot. So nice to see a movie I actually like win this.
Yeah, and you know what? I like looking back in history at a lot of these comedy and musical category winners, because they're always kind of weird. I think we always talk in the pod about The Martian winning in 2015 or
Hilarious
so.
movie. Really funny.
And then I think Green Book won a couple years ago. I think last year Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won. I think that's a well-deserved one. But Borat winning it's a pure comedy, and that's cool to see. I wouldn't have minded Palm Springs, as you said, but I'm just happy it's not one of those 3 other ones. Nothing against Hamilton, very good, but you're a play. You're a play film.
You're a play.
Put
Chill,
on
dude.
Disney Plus. You're getting too much. Too many wins for Hamilton in this. So yeah, Borat won there. So now we go to the actor musical comedy. And it was kind of weird that they went picture first. I thought that was really odd. But they did, so that's how we're doing it. So we had Andy Samberg, Dev Patel, Lin-Manuel Miranda, James Corden, and Sacha Baron Cohen. And Sacha Baron Cohen won for Borat, and I don't remember if he won 15 or 14 years ago when the first one came out, but this could be the second time he's won a Golden Globe for the same character. I'll check that real quick, but what's your take on his win?
It's just it's hilarious. I think Sacha Baron Cohen's a genius of a comedian, and out of these 5, he just seemed like he was the front runner, because we all know I very strongly dislike James Corden. Lin-Manuel Miranda was not in a movie. Dev Patel, everyone seems like a movie seems like it was lovely, but I don't think a lot of people saw it. And then Andy Samberg and Palm Springs really didn't have a shot. So yeah, I don't know if do we see the possibility of Sacha Baron Cohen sneaking in for Best Actor as like that 5th spot maybe, or
You know, I don't think so. I really don't.
yeah, I don't
But
think so either.
I think, he gets his Globes love here tonight. He wins picture, gets actor. I think he's got it for the season now. And I think Borat snuck in at the Writers Guild for adapted. Um, I know the Writers Guild, they have very weird rules around who can get nominated. I think you have to have a membership, and Quentin Tarantino's never been nominated because he always refuses to get a membership. And like, you have all these different things. And like Jack Fincher, I think he passed away so long ago, his membership is like not even eligible. So Mank doesn't get nominated there. So the WGA did see Borat subsequent movie film get a nomination, but so it is getting awards love, right? It is kind of getting that widespread awards love, but I don't see him sneaking into that Oscar slot. That would be cool, especially because he didn't get it for the original Borat. But I did just check there, and he did win the Globe though for that original Borat. So now he's got 2 Globes for Borat. Good for him. And I agree. I think out of these 5, he probably gave the best performance in a musical or comedy. I was just happy to see Dev Patel get nominated. I like that movie. And then obviously Lynn, it's a play. And Manuel Miranda, it
Lynn.
is a play. James Corden, and then Andy Samberg, very cool. Very cool to see him land in there. But yeah, I think it's well deserved for Sacha Baron Cohen. And now we go to the Best Actress Drama one. And I think we can maybe throw that core 4 out of the window. Who knows? But we had the core 4 that we've been talking about for so long. Carey Mulligan, Frances McDormand, Vanessa Kirby, Viola Davis. They've got in at the Critics' Choice. They've got in here. They've got in at SAG. Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday wins Best Actress Drama here. And Jodie Foster was a surprise for me. I was like, wow. And even Rosamund Pike was like, oh, okay, that's a little different. And then this was like the jaw-dropping end to the night pretty much. And I was like, okay, so maybe we have our number 5 at the Oscars. Maybe we do have our number 5. But this is a big win for Andra Day, a huge win. It makes me now, I must watch this movie now. It could have flown under the radar for me, but now I got to check out The United States versus Billie Holiday. What was your take here, learning about that victory?
Yeah, I think she's our number 5 for the Oscar nominations, and I think this movie just dropped on Hulu last week, so it's by far the latest out of any of these, even later than Carol Edward introducing the Black Messiah. So maybe there's a way for this too. It seems like the movie, I haven't seen the movie either, but it seems like the movie is getting pretty middling reviews. So my guess is it'll really just be an Andra Day push, not the movie as a whole. But
yeah,
it's the one performance in here that's based off of an actual person, and then those performances always do well with awards bodies because it's actually something for people to compare their performance to, rather than just being like, oh, Vanessa Kirby, you were really good being miserable in Pieces of a Woman, like people can be like, oh, she sings like Billie Holiday and she looks like her, oh, she's doing all these things. There's so much more ways to compare the thing. So I definitely think she's number 5. Maybe she's a dark horse.
Yeah, and I see now Vanessa Kirby falling off. I think she could fall out of this race. And we have Rosamund Pike winning. Does she get into the 5 as well? Is it like Kirby off, Rosamund Pike in, Andra Day in? Like, I don't know what's going to happen with this category. I think this award season is very exciting. I mean, last year we had the same 4 actors and actresses win at every show across BAFTAs, Critics' Choice, SAG, Globes, and Oscars. They won everywhere. So, I mean, while it looks like on the supporting actor and lead actor side, it looks like a lock, I'm very excited to watch the supporting actress and actress races now because I have really no clue where to pin it. I think we might have a scenario where every award show someone else wins, which would be really cool to me. I think that'd be very kind of refreshing. But I don't know. I think we have to see how far she goes because Andra Day, she didn't get SAG nominated for this, right? So she's not going to be there to win again in a couple of weeks. She got nominated for the Critics' Choice next week, but didn't get into the SAG. So I mean, it's just weird. Like you win here, you miss another one. Like you don't always need the Globe. I think it was Regina King. She missed out on a big SAG nomination a couple years ago, but still went on to win for
Beale Street.
Beale Street. Yeah, sorry about that. I was forgetting. I love that film. I was forgetting the title. Barry Jenkins's Moonlight follow-up. That's how I always remember it. I always forget the name. Beale Street. So yeah, she missed out on the big SAG, but still went on to win. So you can miss out at places and still go on to win. so Andre misses out on the SAG but wins here. I do agree with you. I think she gets into the 5 now, but do we cut out anyone from this core 4, because these 4 have gotten everywhere. For me, it's Vanessa Kirby. I don't know.
I'm starting to lean towards, yeah, it's this 5 minus Kirby, then you put in Rosamund Pike in her spot, because I feel like Pieces of Woman is such a depressing movie that I feel like that can like off put a lot of voters, and that's not necessarily a reflection of the movie itself, but I just think when you have something that it's just, I mean, this movie is about a dead baby. It's just like that's a tough hang, you know. I feel like when you have such depressing subject matter, it goes in one of two extremes. Either like people go nuts for it, or people are like, I don't really feel like watching this movie, and it kind of starts to dwindle a little bit. So, I mean, that's not a really good reason of why Vanessa Kirby falls out, because she's really good in the movie. But I think those kind of things do matter when we're splitting hairs like this, because I feel like this group of 6 is really close in terms of getting a nomination. So I feel like those kind of things could sway things in one way or another.
Yeah, and she's missing, I think Vanessa Kirby, I think she's missing groundswell support for the film overall. I mean, Andre Day, I mean, Billie Holiday doesn't have that either, but they have Best Song as well, and that's getting in everywhere. So she has a little bit now, and now she has the Globes win, so she has a little bit more of a push. I don't like Pieces of Woman. Ellen Bernstein's getting kind of blanked everywhere, so there's not even that to back up Vanessa Kirby here. Whereas with McDormand, with Mulligan, with Viola Davis, you have 3 films that are getting love in other categories. I just see a real potential here, and as you said, for Vanessa Kirby to kind of just slip out of this race. I think we have to watch and see what happens, but I don't see her winning at the Critics' Choice or the SAG in the next couple of weeks. And I think by the time the Oscar nominations roll around, I wouldn't be surprised if she slipped out of here.
Yeah, and watch out for Kate Hudson as with her amazing role as Kazoo Gamble in the movie Music. I think she's in there too. What a stupid name.
Is music is Where can we watch music? Is that a
I
thing?
rented it actually this week if we're going to go
Oh
here,
yeah.
and this movie's awful. It's like it's not even a joke. One of the worst movies I've seen in years. I would alert everybody to the piece Sean Coates wrote for the site, and it basically sums up all things wrong with this movie. And yeah, Kate Hudson's there, and her head is shaved, and her character's name is Kazoo. So that's kind of all you need to know.
Uh, um, Mess. What a mess. Um, but yeah, so that's a very interesting win though, for Andre Day for Best Actress in a Drama. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, like her first movie where she's really doing a lot. She was in one of the Cars movies as a voice role, I believe, and she was in another film a couple years ago as a background singer. I think this is like the first time Andre Day's really had a big role and been at the forefront of a film, and it's pretty cool for her. But now we go into the Best Picture drama, and at this point in the night, I was very much still set on Trial winning. I was like, we've had very weird things happen tonight with Jodie Foster, Rosamund Pike, Andrew Day, and I was still though sitting with Trial. And you had Trial; they had their screenplay win, so I felt like they'd win here. Promising Young Woman, Mank, and The Father have been blanked, so it really has come down to what I think the season will be, and that's Trial versus Nomadland, and that was kind of what it came down to. And I was purely ready for them to say Trial, and I think Chloe Zhao was as well, because she was like looking at the floor. I saw in the Zoom in the corner, she's like looking down, she's like going to grab something, and then they're like Nomadland, and she just like alert, and she's just like smiling. So they won here at the Globes. The Globes did something cool, and Nomadland wins Best Picture Drama.
Yeah, this was cool. I think, like I said earlier, I was really expecting Trial here, so it's nice to see Nomadland win. And I'm just continuously surprised by how well this movie does, because it's just, I don't know, it's just not the movie you would generally consider would do well with awards bodies. It's just a quiet movie, but hey, it's cool. It's a good movie. It's cool to see it do this well. It was a really nice surprise.
I know when this movie was first coming out, they were talking about having an IMAX run, and then theaters kind of shut down again. There was like the second wave lockdown. So I'd be really in if this thing does go all the way to get late spring, early summer IMAX run when theaters reopen a little bit. I don't know if you agree. I think this thing would be beautiful on IMAX.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it was a smart move for them to put it on Hulu though, because now everyone can just watch it here in the states. And I think the more kind of press for this movie, the better. So I think just making it as widely accessible as possible was a really smart move.
Mhm. I agree. But this is a great start for this film. I mean, you look at last year, you had 1917 winning this in this category. Um, Obviously, the year before that, Roma didn't ended up winning here because they were in the foreign language. But this is a good start for Nomadland. This is like a very good start to the season. And if there was anywhere, same with director for Chloe, if there's anywhere where this movie didn't win, I was going to say the Globes. I was going to say Trial would probably win the Globes, and then Nomadland could strike back. But this is a big win for them and a really strong start to what looks like it's going to be a really successful season.
Do you think at this point it's Nomadland and Trial, and then everyone else after that?
I think Minari
Oh,
comes
that's
in,
true. Totally, I
and I
totally
think
forgot because of the
that's.
stupid foreign language. Good job, Globes.
I think I think Minari does come in. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
the very next day after this, I went to Gold Derby, and I mean, they're not the be all end all, and a lot of experts got kind of screwed due to Jodie Foster winning and Andre Day winning. But I think you have to look at some of the trends there, and after the Globes, Trial was kind of going down. Mank, The Father, Promising Young Woman, they were all going down, but Nomadland was going up, and then Minari had jumped from like 6 to 3. So like, there's a big jump now for Minari, and even though it only won that, I mean, it's coming out now. Everyone's starting to see it. It should have a good little run. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. I think the only way Trial really gets back into the race is at the Producers Guild Awards, which is a pretty important guild for the Best Picture race. And you look at last year, 1917 won. Look at the year before, Green Book won. You look at the year before that, The Shape of Water won. So I think there's a chance that Trial gets back in with a PGA win. But as it stands, Nomadland for me is the front runner for Best Picture now.
So are you saying the PGA is full of boomers? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that. I am saying that. I think it seems like it's the Producers Guild, right? I feel like it's very much kind of that sort of thing. I'm just going back through all their winners. They had La La Land win. They had Big Short.
Yeah,
They had
they're like, it
Birdman.
feels like out of all the guilds, they're like the old Hollywood
Mhm.
standbys, you know.
Yeah. So I think that's where Trial could get back in. I think like when you look at an award season, Nomadland seems like the type to be favored at the Critics' Choice. Trial's kind of the one to be like the PGA and Globe's favorite, but now Nomadland has won here at the Globe. So would you say it's the front runner now? Do you think this is like it's a clear cemented status as a front runner?
I think so. And I'm waiting for like what the backlash is gonna be because there's always that with the movie that's the big front runner, but with this, it's kind of like all of the takes I've seen is the movie's not mean enough to Amazon, and that's not really that's not really a conversation starter, you know. So like, I this movie's looking pretty good.
Yeah, there's one little piece of controversy I saw that there was some people saying that they over glorify poverty in this film. And people were saying how Chloe Zhao's family's billionaire or millionaires and they're all so rich and like this is so wrong. But she came out with a statement or something. She said, no, that like that's it's really not true. Like it's a lot of what people are saying is not true at all. And I think that controversy was put to bed pretty quickly. I only have bits and pieces of it because I didn't really fully look into it, but there were some people saying that early on, but it seems like it's died down. And I mean, why not root for this movie, right? It's the indie kind of darling out of all of these. Promising Young Woman as well is not as big of a movie as say Mank or Trial in terms of studio funding, but I mean, I think Nomadland's a fun horse to back in this race.
Yeah, saying that this movie glorifies poverty is just a really bad take. Like that's just stupid. Like it's like Chloe Zhao is one of the most important humanist filmmakers we have, and like if you've seen this or The Rider or her other work, like she's like these movies she shoots them like documentaries. Like she's just flying the wall, shooting, showing these people's lives. Like if you want to see a movie that glorifies poverty, just head on over to Hillbilly Elegy. now currently streaming on Netflix. And then just compare the two,
Exactly.
and that's all you need to know.
Exactly. I 100% agree. So, I mean, just before we end here, I wanted to touch on just the Globes because while they don't matter in the grand scheme of things, they're good for press for a campaign. Like it's the Globes, it's a body of 87 people who are seemingly not the smartest out there. So, I mean, while it doesn't mean much, it does mean much in the grand scheme of things in terms of press and kind of just getting a good footing here and kind of getting a good head start with the awards race because the Globes always comes first in the season. But for the most part, I thought this was a pretty successful year for them in terms of who they gave awards to. I don't think there was too much that made me angry, or I don't think there was much of a massive internet backlash to many of these winners. Um, like even Andre Day winning and Jodie Foster winning is like people aren't going to get mad at that just because no one's really seen the movies, right? So, like, what would you say is your take overall for the 2021 Golden Globes COVID style?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in terms of the head scratchers, there's nothing that I'm super angry about here. I think you're right there. It's just the tough thing that I'm going through this, and with Minari just being sectioned off in foreign language, I sometimes forget, like, in terms of what does all of this mean for the Oscars to also include all the work from Minari, because like Stephen Yeun is going to be there in there for an actor. Um, uh, there are going to be all these directing awards and probably best supporting as well and score. So I think it's important to keep that in mind for what all this means. But yeah, it's the Globes. They were pretty Globesy, but not in a way that pissed me off. So I guess good on them.
I agree, 100%. And kind of just looking now ahead of what we've got as the season progresses, because you're right, Minari, like they're sectioned off, but they had a great Critics' Choice nominations a couple of weeks ago where they picked up 10. They got into the SAG Best Ensemble, proving that there is a lot of love among the industry for this film. So that's what we have to look forward to. So the Critics' Choice is next Sunday. Um, and then very important Monday, Tuesday with the PGA noms on the Monday and the DJ noms on the Tuesday for the producers and directors guilds. So we'll be back late next week with late Critics' Choice reactions and then PGA DJ rundown. But I just want to thank you again for coming on this week. It's always fun.
For the people listening at home, I took 17 shots.
a lot of
I'm
L's, a lot
plastered
of
over
L's.
here. Yeah, I'm done.
Would have been more L's if music ran the table of this award show, but we're happy that it's spared you in that way.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have done this podcast if music won. I would have been irrational. I would have said dumb things. It would have been a bad look for me.
We might have ended the show. We might have just canceled
I
the
might have
show
just
after
like
music wins.
disbanded MovieBabble, maybe. Because then clearly, if that happens, I know nothing about film.
Uh, well, we're glad that didn't happen. And I just want to thank you all for listening. And we'll be back late next week with the fourth episode of this Road to the Oscars. As always, you can check out our content on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and then obviously moviebabble.com.